Hey, my name is Heather Jeter, and I attend Wings of Love Ministries in Panama City, Florida. I have loved the Lord my entire life. I have been saved since I was 9 years old. I have been fervently serving the Lord for many years, and March 29th of 2015, I went to church like any other Sunday morning and led worship at my church, had a great message, and then come home. Things that day were normal up until then. Until I got home, we decided we were going to cook some fish and cook a little special lunch, and I decided I'd cook some crab legs, and I put them in a pressure cooker that I use for the size, not the pressure. And I always offset the lid on this pressure cooker, and the gizmo that prevents it from building pressure wasn't on it either. But somehow the crab legs, when they boiled, they shifted the lid and the lid shut, and they blocked the hole at the top and pressurized the pot. And when we got certain things going on in the oven, I decided I would address the pot, which wasn't making any noise. It just sat there for a few minutes, and I got right over the pot just right before my hands touched the pot, and the lid blew and the pressure cooker exploded all over my face and my chest and my arms. And some interesting things about the pot is when it blew, normally the way it should have went is the pot should have come up and went to reflect the water out onto me, but instead it turned and it shot water away from me. But when it blew so high, it made it up and blocked my bottom lip on up. The lid blocked me from getting water there. So basically, from my bottom lip on down and down my arms, I was burned severely. I turned and screamed at the same time because it scared me, so I gasped and I inhaled the boiling water, and I swallowed it, and I burnt the inside and outside when it exploded. I'd reached around to get my apron off, and I'd leaned forward to keep the clothes off of me, but I couldn't get the apron untied, and my husband yelled, "Get it off." And before I could say I can't, my husband, he was just right there and snatched all my clothes over my head, and I was going into shock. I couldn't think straight, and he shoved me into a shower. I didn't think I was burned that bad at first. I knew it was bad, but I didn't realize the magnitude of which I was burned. And when I was in the shower, I couldn't breathe, and I called my husband because he had left the room, and I was like, "I think you need to drive me to the hospital," still not knowing how bad it was. And he had told me he was on the phone with 911. And I was thinking, well, if he's calling them, it must be pretty bad. And I heard him telling the lady on the phone for them to get an ambulance there quickly, that my skin was melting off my face. I wanted to pray. The only thing I could say was, "God help me, I'm burned bad." And I probably said that, countless times. The ambulance that was called was like literally less than 5 minutes away. They were so close by. They beat the police and fire department there. And I sat on the ambulance as they were getting things ready, saying, "Get it together," and "God help me." And that's the only thing I could say. And we went to the hospital, and when we got there, they put me in the trauma bay, which they don't use that unless it's a big deal. And they had told me they were going to intubate me. They had looked down my throat and where it saw where I'd burned, all the way down, and just burned everything inside and out. And they were going to intubate me so it didn't swell and stop me from breathing. And I was scared. And I needed to pray, and I couldn't pray. I couldn't get enough things to me to get together to pray. And I told the doctor in the hospital, I said, "I need someone to pray for me." The doctor looked at me, and God gave me the right doctor, and she said, "I will pray with you." And that doctor did something I've never seen done. She climbed up on the gurney on her knees and grabbed my head and put her head to my head on the part where it wasn't burned. And she prayed a very fervent, real, faith-believing prayer. It wasn't a prayer of appeasal, so I would just, go with the flow. She meant her prayer. And I thank God for that prayer. God sent me to her. She prayed for me. And I woke up in Augusta, Georgia, at a burn center there. I had surgery the next day. And my bottom lip on down, including my arms, are all skin graft. I am thoroughly just amazed what God has done as far as healing. I come out of surgery. I didn't know what I looked like at all, and I hadn't seen a mirror the entire time. And I'd asked my brother, I said, am I ugly? And he said, you don't know what you look like. And I said, no. And the only picture I had in my head are the thoughts, that when you think of a person that's been burned, you have a certain picture in your head of what that person looks like. My brother took a picture on his cell phone, and I saw the picture, and I just really felt relieved. What I did say, I spoke the word in my life. I spoke what I've been taught, what I've read, and what I've known of God to be. He's the healer. Nothing missing, nothing broken. And those are the words I held to, for God to restore my body. And I prayed and I believed. Other people prayed. People I don't even know who prayed. It went all over Facebook, and the comments and the prayers, and just people came out of the woodwork with really the love of God that held me up through support and through prayer. I was in bed for over a month, not being able to get up and do anything. I had a netting bandage over my head, over my neck, over my shoulders, over my arms. That's my face and all that. It all scabs up, and it covers with a scab. And as that scabs came off, I was beginning to see, my skin, and it wasn't maimed. It wasn't nothing. All my skin may have like a little thing that looks like a little bit of bruising, but it's not textured. It's not overlapped. It's not deformed. It's nothing missing, nothing broken. It has everything it's supposed to have. It has elasticity. It has feeling. Everything was out of order and different for that day, but I believe God placed everything in the order He placed it in for my protection, that He shielded me with that lid going the other way, and He put in place all my help and all my provision as I needed it. My first time singing after I got burned was on Mother's Day, but now we're in September of 2015. And ever since last month, I've been leading my choir in worship. I have taken back my position at my church as a worship leader, and I'm enjoying every blessing that comes with it. He gave me my voice, and He's restored it, and it's going to keep renewing itself until God gets it back to where He had it, and I believe it's going to be bigger and better than what it was. Nothing missing, nothing broken. My name is Heather Jeter, and this is my story.